my time. It might be 9 o'clock for some of you other people, but we are back. Welcome back. It is day 18. It is our first show post Olympics. Now, I really want to say we have amassed over 1.8 million total views since the beginning of the Olympics and over 23,000 hours watched. And that's amazing. I have nothing to say but thank you to everybody that has listened in, that has watched the live streams, man. You guys are what makes this show run. So continue to do what you do. And from the bottom of my heart, Mike's heart, we love you. We truly love you. Today's show, we have Natoya Goule, the 800-meter specialist from Jamaica. She went to LSU and then she transferred to Clemson. And funny story, I have actually taken a picture with Natoya Goule around 7 years ago. I was 13 at the time. She was a senior in college,
I was a junior. I
junior
think
in
I was
college.
a junior. Yeah, I was going to LSU. Oh no, actually, I was a senior because it was
Got you.
Clemson.
Okay.
Yes, I definitely was a senior.
A
Yeah,
senior in college. And
love it.
I remember that whole story.
Ah,
My my
look at us.
what are you laughing at?
Because we were on the same height.
We were definitely the same height. That is
Imagine, I
hilarious.
am super short because you were 13. You were- I was like 20 something.
Oh
Oh
my
my
goodness.
gosh.
But it was absolutely crazy because I remember my parents surprised me, and my mom just packed me and my brother and my sister in the car one day and said we were going on a work trip. And I remember pulling up to Arkansas, and I remember getting in the hotel, and I just saw all these collegiate athletes. I'm like, Mom, what's going on? She said, Son, I just brought you to the NCAA championships. And I was
Wow.
like, oh my
Oh
goodness.
my gosh. Mind blowing for a 13-year-old. Yes.
Yes, and that's exactly what I did. Yes. Yes.
Amazing.
So over those couple of days of action, I got to meet various athletes. And I will say, Natoya, you were one that stuck out to me because I ran the 800 at that time as well. And just to see you do what you did at that stage was very inspiring.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad I was a part of your inspiration for you to become one of the best 800-meter collegiate athletes. Look at you, Brandon. Come on, like it's amazing what you're doing. I've been following your progress and I saw the
Wow.
600 meters that you ran and I was like, ooh, this dude moving. Like this dude on a roll, he's finna run fast. Then I sat down and I watched the SECs because my conference is ACCs. First it was SECs, then it's ACCs. But
Right.
I'm at Clemson right now and I'm a volunteer coach. So there are the ACCs. But my husband is SECs because he went to Florida,
Oh,
and
okay.
yes, and we were watching it, and the 800 came up, and I was like, babe, the 800 meter gonna run.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I saw that gun burst, and dude was gone. That reminded me of one of my race at nationals. I think it was
Wow.
2013 when I shoot out, and I went out in 56, 127.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh! When I saw that little short dude running on the track, I'm like, look at the male version of me.
You know, and that's what everybody says. Everybody's like, Brandon, I am so used to these 800 runners being tall and this and that. And I'm like, well, I'm only 5'7", so I gotta get it how I gotta get it how it gets. You know
Listen,
what I mean?
you look short to running.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely do. I like to say I am definitely short, but I'll be the tallest on the podium. So
Yes,
yeah.
that's right. So I want you to tell me about your NCAA, record that you ran at the SEC championship. Just give me a little insight about how you feel about that, and like being the number one athlete right now, everybody looking down at you. Is there any pressure at all?
Wow, you are a natural at this. I really want you to know that you are a
Thank
natural.
you.
But yeah, yeah. So going into the race, I definitely wanted the collegiate record. I was looking at the collegiate record of 144.8, and I was also looking at the American collegiate record of 145.27 set by Devin Dixon, who I had the benefit of being teammates with last year. So going into the race, it was all about what do I have to do to hit my splits and go out there and compete to the best of my abilities in front of this insane home crowd that was there. I kid you not. I really think there were thousands of people in the stands. And I get to the start line, and when I tell you my legs felt like logs, I was just like, oh my goodness, like I was just super nervous. I was just super nervous. But then when the gun went off, I had to stick to my race plan. I wanted to get out and I wanted to stay out. As you said, like that time you went through it, 56 is kind of just like that front running mentality of getting out and staying out. So I wanted to go through at 50 point. And when I came through the 600 at 117, I was like, okay, I actually feel kind of good. So, I just tried to keep my form. And when I got to 100 meters left, I would just, as I said, keep my form, lift my knees, and pump it all the way through. So when I saw the time, at first I was like, oh, I didn't get 144. I didn't get 144. But then I looked up at the big thing. I'm like, oh wait, but I got the American collegiate record. So when I saw that, I was like, man, I am so blessed to have achieved that. All glory goes to God. And I was just so happy and so blessed to be in that moment yesterday. And it's something I'm going to remember for the rest of my life.
That is wonderful because I was sitting in my sofa and I was watching. And when you crossed that line and I saw the 145 and I saw that reaction on your face, I was like, I bet he's not happy with the time. But then you saw that you break the collegiate record and you was happy. So I am
Oh
happy
yeah.
for you too. We're like, okay, Brandon.
Oh yeah. No,
you was
100%.
happy after. Yeah. I'm
One.
really proud.
Now you mentioned that you are a volunteer assistant for Clemson.
Yes.
Well, I wanted to say congratulations. I saw the Clemson man win the 800 at ACCs this past. Yeah, no, he ran a great race. I remember watching it and I was like, wow, this Clemson man is about to win this. I said he's about to win this. When he
He
made his
told me that. He said he was gonna let it all out. He
and
was,
he definitely did. He didn't break down or anything. Like he
mhm.
ran and he ran with so much heart. And I was like, yeah, no, he deserved that win. He
Yes,
definitely.
he did.
I want to
Yes,
say congratulations. Not
thank
only for what you
you.
have achieved on the track, but what you are inspiring others and coaching others to achieve on the track as well.
Thank you, Brandon.
No problem. I want to get into you a little bit. Can you tell us who you are, what you do, kind of like your background and how you got into the sport of track and field?
Okay, I'm Natoya Goule, as you know. I'm from Jamaica,
Mhm.
and I was a little girl when I started to run. In Jamaica, you're known to run at like races from you were a little tiny big girl. Is whether it's lime and spoon where you run with the lime or the bag with the sack.
I cannot
I'm
relate.
about 3 years old. And then, when I was in grade three, we have cross country, which is not the regular cross country where you run on the grass,
Mhm.
but it's like on the road. So we have sports days. And first we have a cross country the day before. And I ran and I was second overall behind my brother. I was in first
Wow.
because they set off grade three, then grade four, then grade five, and then grade six. I was in grade three. So they set you off as, by age. And I was running, and my brother told me after the race, and he was like, I look, and I was like, is that my sister? So he run come to try and catch me. And so both of us, while we were running, was encouraging me. He was like, "Come on, come on, come on!" Even though because we have houses, so I was in Bogle, he was in Sharp, and he was
Okay.
in Harvey. Yeah, so he was encouraging me to come, and I was there. Just imagine me as an 8-year-old, a little tiny little thing.
Little
'Cause I am
tiny girl.
I am
That's something
so
we have in
tiny.
common. I understand. I understand.
Yeah, and I was second overall, first as girl, and grade four I didn't do too well because as I said, they started out and I was at the back of the pack. But grade
Mhm.
5 and 6, I was champion girl going into high school. You know, I dreamt about being in the Olympics, but I never know I would have been there. I didn't really
Oh,
know about Olympics until 2004. I went to high school in 2003. You know, and
got you. Oh
it was
wow.
all because
Okay.
of Bernie Campbell because she had won the 200. That's how I know about Olympics. I didn't know anything before that.
Wow.
Yes, I was lost. And when I saw the girls running, and actually, persons thought that was going to be a 1500-meter runner or a steeplechase runner or a 3000 meter.
Okay.
Because I did 3000 in high school. I did it.
3,000.
I ran the
Wow.
half marathon, Brandon.
Wow. No, you're better than me. I might have stopped if they put me on the right and put me on the track for the 3,000.
Listen,
I might have stopped.
Brandon, when I was 14, I ran 9:56 in the 3000.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Whoa.
outdoors.
Whoa.
Yeah, people thought I was going to be a long distance runner
Wow. No, that's insane.
until my last year of high school. I guess they realized that okay, she can probably run, the 800 more because I actually ran a better 1500 before I ran a good 800. Like I run
Okay.
427 before I run like a 203 because I was a
Wow.
205 girl, which at that time was impressive and I didn't know that.
Right.
Yeah, because I'm from Jamaica where you don't have much persons running these super fast times. But when
Yeah.
you come to the United States, you see them 2 minutes, them 201s.
Yeah.
You're the 205 in Jamaica, not saying nothing.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
so that's how I started. Like as I always tell people, the 800 chose me. I didn't choose the 800.
Mm,
You
mm.
know, I like running 4x4s.
Yeah. I feel like the 800 definitely chooses you. I don't think anybody voluntarily chooses the 800 to run. Not at all.
No, because I would run away if I had a choice with that training. You know how training is.
No, I know. I know how training is.
Yeah, so I would run away
Have you ever had one of those moments in practice where you're kind of just like, man, what if I was a sprinter?
all the time.
All the
On
time. Yeah.
Tuesdays,
Yeah.
especially now in the spring. For you, in the spring, that's when everything start going like this, right?
Yeah.
And you'll be
Yep.
like, why me? Why did I choose
Yeah.
you?
Exactly.
So you know where we're coming from, Brandon.
I
You
know
know it.
exactly.
And that's why
Exactly.
they have to respect us, Brandon. We go there and we put
Put
our
some
all
respect on our
out,
name.
Brandon. They gotta respect us because we gotta be mentally strong. Because
Yes.
training, oh my God, training is hard. I always tell persons it's easier to race than train. Is
Yeah.
that for you as well?
100%. I definitely agree.
Okay, so I want to ask you this. You have the NCAA indoors coming up. This is the big one. How are you preparing for that? You're the favorite, duh. Like nobody can touch Brandon right now. But how are you? Because to me, you want to get that American record. So I have a feeling that you're gonna go after it. Are you thinking about doing that? Probably like in the East, because the East is probably like one of the easiest thing to do it in, and then just race to
Right.
win in the finals. What are you planning? Not to tell everybody everything now,
Right.
but
Yeah. No, you know, I, I'm just thankful to be there. I really want to go in there and compete to the best of my abilities because last year I actually didn't make indoor nationals. Yeah, I was. It was top 16. I was number 17. And,
oh
it was
my
the whole
gosh,
COVID. I missed, a meet or here and there, and I actually didn't make indoor nationals. So
I think I remember. And we were like, "Oh, Brandon didn't make it." I think I was like shocked,
yep.
like, "Oh, Brandon didn't make it."
So,
I didn't remember that at all.
so I think the biggest thing for me to going into nationals is I'm really just going there to compete, and I'm definitely gonna, as I said before, at SECs, I'm gonna try to do something special. You know,
Definitely.
uh, I don't want to rob God of any of the glory that He deserves at that type of stage. So
Love that.
go out there and give my best. So actually, hold on. Right now, we're gonna bring in Jared, who's in
Okay, let's
Nordic
go.
combined, and we're gonna ask him some questions. I feel like you're a natural at this, so once Bob brings him in, we'll definitely ask him a couple of questions.
Bring them in. Bring him in. Bring him in.
Hello.
Hi, Jared. Welcome.
Hey, thank you.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to meet you.
Yeah, you too.
You
Welcome.
know, we love Natoya with you have a you your energy is just very effective.
I've
Like
been having fun watching the last 10 minutes.
Three
Yeah.
fingers.
so Jared, I have some
Oh,
facts about you and Jerry, how do we pronounce your last name?
Shoemate.
Shumate. Okay, that's what I thought. I didn't want to butcher it or anything.
You're good.
yeah.
I'd say half people say it wrong. So
Oh,
What do
okay.
they say?
I get a lot of shumates.
Oh
We
wow.
try to make it fancy, but it's not
Oh
fancy.
my gosh. That
Wow.
sounds like when they're trying to call me Goule.
Yeah.
Goulet.
Yes.
Goulet.
Ugh.
No,
Ooh.
Jared, I see here that you started really skiing at the age of 2 at your local mountain. Can you really tell me how it is, because the age of 2, I don't even remember when I was 2. So it's kind of always been ingrained in you. You kind of just grew up skiing. So can you tell me about, just growing up skiing? Did you ever play any other sports? Kind of tell me about your athletic history and how skiing has really, affected your life.
Sweet. Yeah. So I'm 22 now. So I've been skiing for 20 years, which sounds crazy, but so I live in Park City, Utah, and so we have 3 ski resorts within the town. So skiing is just like ingrained in Park City. And so yeah, my parents signed me up for ski lessons when I was 2 or 3. Like you said, I don't remember when I was 2, but
Yeah.
I was out there skiing. Um, and then yeah, I just kept skiing. I don't know, super fun. When I was little, like I didn't care about competing or doing anything. It was just fun to go out there and rip around a ski resort. Um, Played basketball for a while.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Um, I was tall. I mean, I'm still tall, but I was tall when I was little.
Uh,
Um, but then I started ski jumping and just like completely fell in love with it. Stopped playing basketball, and here we are now. Made a good choice, I think.
Well,
no,
I don't know anything about ski jumping or, anything to do with that at all. I don't know how to do all of that. But, which comes easier for you, ski jumping or cross country skiing? Which one is better? Like, you think you're better at?
I've kind of always been better at cross country skiing. Uh, Ski
Hmm.
jumping is we call it like the hardest easy sport. Like fundamentally, ski jumping is a very easy sport, but actually like doing it properly is so challenging. So I'm getting better now, but I've always struggled with ski jumping more, but kind of always had the knack for cross country skiing. Oh, what's
So,
this?
so how do you train for these events? Because I'm really curious. Because I did cross country, and what we do is run around for long, which is not the same as ski cross country, or ski jumping. So, how do you train for these events? I'm really curious about.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because ski jumping and cross country physiologically are like polar opposite sports. Like ski jumping is super explosive power, and then cross country skiing is kind of long, slow endurance muscles. So we do try to balance it as well as possible, but I'd say we do about like 500 hours a year of cross country ski
Hmm.
training. So in the winter, that's all on snow, and then we call them roller skis. It's like our summer cross country skis. I don't know if you've ever seen anybody use them, but and then yeah, for ski jumping, a lot of time in the gym, do a lot of like imagery and visualization stuff like that, and then obviously a lot of practice ski jumps, usually around like 400 or 500 jumps a year.
Wow. Wow.
gotcha. Well, I want to chime in. I have the pleasure of being here with 2 Olympians. So I really want to ask each one of you guys, how did it feel when when you figured out were going to the Olympics, and kind of just like, can you tell me about, the journey, just like the culmination of feelings that you had because of the journey that you took, in order to get there? Because I feel like going to the Olympics is a dream come true for any athlete, you know, whether that be in summer or winter. So can you guys tell me, both of you guys, just tell me what you guys were feeling and what does that mean to you, that you can officially call you guys yourselves Olympians, I should say.
You want to go first?
Okay. Well, I've been to two Olympics. The first one was in 2016,
Mm,
and then the recent one. But as an 800 runner, Brandon, we have you know this focus on what we want to do ahead of
right.
time and the time that we want to get. And at that time, I think I had to run just 2 minutes because they
Mm,
change the time now. So before Olympics, I was already running, those times. And
right.
so in college, right, well, after NCAA's at our trials, I'd ran 1:59.6. So I had like officially qualified for the Olympics, which was, I was happy for that. But still, at the trial, before the trials, I still didn't have the time, like in that year. And I went there and, I ran and I was so happy because it's my first time. Before you came on, Jared, I was telling him that I didn't know anything about Olympics until 2004. And I was in high school then. I think I was like in grade 8, and I didn't know anything about Olympics. So to be able to be an two times Olympian now,
Wow.
it it's like dream come true for me. And next time, I need to be three times Olympian and medalist.
No, I
That's
like
my
that.
name.
I like that.
On to you, Mr. Jared.
Sweet. Yeah, I'm going next time for two-time Olympian and medalist is the goal.
Yes, that's right, Jared. That's right.
Um, yeah, for us, our Olympic qualification is only this season. So no results that we've had before like November of last year affected our Olympic team at all, which was kind of stressful because you kind of got to hit the ground running at the start of the season. And
Right.
like the first weekend of the season for me was terrible. Like
Mm.
I think I was sick, traveled halfway around the world to a race and didn't do well and was just like pissed off and
Mm.
questioned everything I did all summer.
Yeah.
Uh, Took a couple weeks to like train hard and refocus. And then the last World Cup before the Olympic criteria or qualification ended, had my two best World Cup results ever, which put me on the team. So that was good timing. Um, and then, yeah, we named our Olympic team, but it didn't really hit me that I was going to the Olympics until we were at opening ceremonies and we like
Mm.
walked out. We had the flag waving and we walked out under the rings with all the music playing, the
Oh
stadium
yeah.
full. Like that moment was when I was like, okay,
Oh
this is,
yeah.
we did it.
That's when it hits.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So, what is a typical off-season training session and a typical in-season training session for you?
Yeah. So we kind of always say skiers are made in the summer because we do like the bulk of
Mhm.
our training not on snow.
Yeah.
Um, so usually we do a lot of in the summer like low intensity easy sessions. So anywhere from like an hour and a half to I think the longest workout I've ever done was 13 hours. Um, but most of them are like 2 to 4 hours in there. Um, and then as we get close to the competition season, we kind of ramp up the intensity.
Okay.
And we train a lot with heart rate. I don't know what track and field gauges with,
Mhm.
but we do a lot of heart rate based training. Um, and so yeah, we kind of we do our training in like pyramid structure essentially. So in the summer, we're building like the big easy base of the pyramid, and then the closer you get to the competition season, kind of the less training you do, but the higher intensity and higher quality.
Okay.
Because for us, our races are mostly 10K usually, uh,
Wow.
which on
Wow.
skis is like 20 to 30 minutes, depending on
Oof.
the course, depending on the snow. Um, so yeah, we got to be at a good. It takes a while to get the.
Got to be in shape for sure.
That's cross
For
country,
sure.
right?
For
That's
sure.
cross country for you.
Now, Jerry, you kind of mentioned that the first part of your season, you kind of struggled a little bit. And this is a question for both of you guys. It's a two-part question. So, as elite athletes, because I know there's athletes that are watching this that look up to you guys. What are some of the ways you guys deal with struggle? And then because you guys have been to the highest level of the Olympics, do the motivations change? Because a lot of people motivation is to get to the Olympics. Like as a person in my position, I really want to, make world championship teams, make the Olympics. But for you, Natoya, and you, Jared, you guys have already been there. So do the motivations change in order to, surpass where you have already been? So I guess my two questions are, how do you overcome adversity as elite athletes? And then do the motivations change as you get better and better and better in your respective sport?
You can go first, Jared.
Okay. Yeah, I think for me, like I was saying, the start of the season was super terrible, but kind of everybody around me, all my coaches and like our team support staff reminded me that like that competition was not the goal. Like for this season, the goal was the Olympics. Um, so yeah, I think just kind of taking a step back and rethinking about what your goals are helps a lot. Because it sucks to have bad days, but if that bad day leads to you having a good day at the Olympics or whenever it counts for you, then you just got to make sure that you're keeping your brain positive and trying to find the positives, no matter how bad your results are at the time.
Okay.
Definitely for me the same. Like not because you did not achieve a goal, that doesn't mean that it stopped there. Because for me, Olympics was last year, but we have World Championships coming up. So you cannot just be demotivated because you have a bad race,
Mhm.
because there's more to come. And you know, us track athletes, like the professional part of it, like for you, Brandon, you have the collegiate season. Like we have small meets coming, and also like for me, I have diamond league races. So it's not just about, yes, we're going to the Olympics because we want to do well at the Olympics, but there are other meets leading up to the Olympics that we also have to, achieve our goals during
Right.
this time. Because at championships, like for some persons, they can peak at a championship, while some persons they would peak before that championship. Like they want to be able to run a time because we have contracts,
Right.
and you have to be able to, do what you have to do according to what your contract says. So yes, you can go to the championships and say, okay, you want a medal, but the time is also important as well. So if you
Gotcha.
don't achieve a medal, you can achieve a time as well.
Right.
So I always stay motivated no matter what. I
Mhm.
might have a bad race, but I try to just brush that off and regroup and just attack the next one. So for
Gotcha.
me, I try not to be demotivated because I like to motivate people. So I have to motivate myself as well. You know?
I feel that.
Hey, Steph, welcome. I
Hi,
said
how's it
right.
going?
Did I say it
Steven.
right?
You're close. It's Steven.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
I did
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
see the
Speaking of
name
Olympics,
on it.
we have
That's why I'm
cruiserweight.
sorry. I
Oh, I
saw the
spelled your name
C.
wrong.
Oh, it's all
Yeah,
right. I
the
spell my
name is
name wrong
spelled
most of the
wrong.
time,
That's
also.
why.
Yes. Uh,
Well, we've been
Stephen, I
chatting
have
good
never met
friends.
anybody from Utah, and Jared, I guess you're from Utah as well. So,
Yeah.
Wow.
yeah, I've never ever
I
met
don't think I ever
anybody
met
from Utah.
anyone either.
Yeah, we probably we actually grew up skiing together, so
Really?
You've
yeah.
been skiing since you're two as well.
hmm Yeah, he's just down the street from me right now.
So both y'all ski together.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah,
much
yeah,
are.
Wow.
we were roommates in Beijing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yes, we were.
Oh my gosh. How was that experience for both of you? You grew up knowing each
Right.
other, you compete against each other, then you're roommates with each other. How was that
Yeah, it's
experience?
pretty cool.
Oh my,
Yeah, growing up with, or I mean, our whole team's super close. Like we've all known each other forever because it's a pretty small sport in the U.S. So everyone kind of knows everyone. So um,
oh my
I think it's
God.
an especially unique experience to be able to go with some of our closest friends and Jared, who has been my teammate since I was, I don't know what, like 10.
Yeah, something like
Um,
Wow.
So
That is
yeah.
amazing. So I
Mhm.
want you guys to tell me, talk to me about the Olympic experience, this year, with each other, with your team, making your first Olympics, right? Just tell me about that experience. How did you feel?
Jared. Oh, I got it. All right. It was cool. I mean, the Olympics is always it's an amazing thing. It's only happens every 4 years, so it's always on everyone's radar all the time. And I mean, it felt incredible. Like everyone's been through their struggles, and we worked super hard to get there. So, um, yeah, I don't know. It was pretty surreal to actually be there and be able to compete on the world's biggest stage. So, yeah.
Yeah, and with COVID being still a thing 2 years later, like our Olympic experience is probably different than most Olympic experiences, probably
Right.
similar to your experience in Tokyo, but like we were fully locked down in our village, uh, COVID tests every day, all the volunteers wearing hazmat suits everywhere. So we maybe didn't have like the social aspect of the normal Olympics, but with our team, like we were all in the same kind of apartment style hotel room. So we made the best of it and spent a lot of time with each other.
I think that was like the same experience for me at the Summer Olympics. We didn't get to go out of the village, to do anything fun. Come on, we're in Japan, and Japan is nice. So we didn't get to really do much when we're there, but stay in the village, and we had to do COVID tests as well. And it can get annoying, but at least we didn't have to have in our nose all the time. It was the saliva one, so that was pretty cool, and I like that. So it was not as bad, as I thought. Running in the stadium though, it was empty.
Yeah.
That's
There was
gotta be weird.
nobody. So how was that for you guys? Did you guys have anybody in the stadium? Where was it? No, it's not stadium. I forget you guys outside. But there were persons around to, when you guys were skiing and stuff.
Yeah, I think there was no spectators like allowed to travel there at all, but I think they had like local, maybe some of the volunteers or some other locals fill the stands. So they like certainly weren't full, but we at least had some people, which was cool because we've been doing our seasons for the last 2 seasons have been without spectators. So it didn't feel weird, but yeah, it was nice to at least have like a couple hundred people there watching.
Yeah, when we're racing, we do also have coaches and staff on the course, so we always have some cheering going on,
So that's
Yeah, there
good.
you go.
Yeah.
because we have to have support in case someone like steps on a pole or breaks a ski or something like
Mhm.
that.
Oh my
It's
God.
always potentially an issue. So yeah, we've always got someone there. But yeah, it was I don't know. That was the weird part. Like it didn't feel much different than most other events as far as the actual competition, other than having like the rings on your chest and all that stuff. It felt pretty normal.
Well, to back up what you just say about, having a coach travel and, with you guys, where do you travel for some of these meets that you did?
Most of our competitions are all in Europe. So we spend anywhere from like 5 to 8 months a year in Europe.
Wow.
Um,
That's amazing. That's almost all the year.
Yeah.
yeah.
Real.
That is
Um,
like all through the year.
Yeah, we basically moved there.
Oh my gosh, you guys don't miss your family?
um, yeah, we hang out with enough or each other enough. It's like a little family. Um, but yeah, our competition season is like November to March. We have some competitions in the summer, but they don't really matter for us. Um, but yeah, so we spend, I'd say most of our competition is Central Europe, and then we do a lot in Scandinavia, like having this be a Nordic ski jumping and Nordic cross country skiing. We spent some time in Norway.
A little bit of time in Russia.
Yeah.
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 So, with you guys spending so much of your time in another country, can you tell me about really how like you guys communicate with your family back home, the family aspect, and your friends back home? Like, tell me a little bit about your relationships with the folks that you grew up with.
I feel like we're pretty dialed with the time change. It's 8 hours, so like you know exactly when everyone's awake and when they're going to sleep. So,
Yeah.
um, and if you know your friends well enough, you know when like exactly when they're going to bed. So, basically just call them when they're when they're ready to go or before they're asleep, and yeah, hope that they answer their phones. And if not, then maybe you try again in a few days. But like Jared said, we kind of have our own little family over there with our team because it is super small. So yeah.
But yeah, a lot of FaceTimes.
I can attest to that because I too go Europe, but it's the summer, not the winter. My first time, apart from when it's world indoors, my first time going overseas was last week, and I was there for a whole week. And but it was not as bad with the cold like how it would be like in January. So it wasn't too bad. It was mostly windy. Like my flight got canceled and everything. It was mostly windy and it was raining. It was crazy, but I made it through. But in the summer,
Yeah.
like first track persons, most of our diamond leagues are in Europe, so we'll go over there in the summer. Even after we compete, like in after summer Olympics, we went to Europe to run in Brussels, in I think Stockholm, all over. We went to run, and I'm looking forward for Brandon to be over there as well, in the future because we are pulling him out there. Come on, Brandon.
Oh yeah, brings me kind of into my next question, I guess, for you, Jared and Steven, and also for you, Natoya. Um, just how different is ski jumping? How different is the culture of ski jumping in like Europe rather than in the United States? And also for you, Natoya, like how different is track in Jamaica? Because I've seen a bunch of documentaries. You have like Usain Bolt's documentary, and you guys kind of grow up through high school, and track is like huge. And then like you come and race in the U.S. So tell me how the culture of ski jumping and the culture of track is different from Europe and Jamaica versus the U.S. of A.
Who want to go first?
I'm sorry.
We can go.
No, I'm
Yeah.
saying who want to go first?
Yeah. Should we do it? All right. I mean, I think it's definitely bigger over there. It originated in Europe, especially in Scandinavia. Like the event Jared's going to next weekend in Holmenkollen, in Oslo, Norway, is like the Super Bowl for Norway. Like they have a race there, and hundreds of thousands of people show up and line the courses. Um, 20, 30, 40,000 people sitting at the bottom of the ski jump, watching, cheering. Like you can't hear yourself think in a normal year. So.
Wow.
Um, yeah, it's a super super big deal over there. Coming over here, obviously, it's not as big because a lot of people don't know what it is, just because it's not as accessible. So I think over there, it's definitely like football,
Mm.
basketball status, like it is over here for those sports.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's a lot more ingrained in the culture. Like for us, we live in Park City and we have a ski jump in Park City, but the closest ski jump aside from that is a 5-hour drive away.
Wow.
It's like you can be in Central Europe. Like say we spend a lot of time in Austria, and from our little apartment we have in Austria, if you were to drive 5 hours in any direction, you'd probably hit like 50 to 100 different ski jumps.
Oh, wow.
So
Wow.
yeah, a lot more
That's
accessible.
amazing. That is amazing.
Yeah.
Well, for me, it's totally different. Racing in Jamaica versus US and versus Europe. So
Mm.
in Jamaica, it's basically like what Brandon ran yesterday. I am always have to be in the front if I want to run the time that I run because I think most of the athletes in Jamaica that they shy away from the 800 because it's so hard, it's so difficult with
Hmm.
training and things like that. So for the past probably 8 years, I've been a national champion in the 800 there, and now and then I'll get. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Pat yourself on the back for that. Yeah, that's insane.
but now and then I'll get some competition. But for the past couple of years, I really don't have much competition, which I hope that more Jamaicans would come out because we have the talent there. We're not only a sprint factory. We
Hmm.
have the 800 talent, but they just don't want to do it. So when I go Europe and because I live here in the US, when I'm racing with these athletes, I get that competition that I want. And by going to Europe, a couple weeks ago, that gave me a feel because World Indoors is next month. Next month is next week.
Hmm.
So
Right.
that
Right.
so 3 weeks and it's World Indoors. So by going overseas and competing with these athletes, it gives me the chance to have a feel of what is to come. So I am looking forward to see how I do in World Indoors because it's going to be competitive, and I don't shy away from a competition. It makes you
Oh
better.
yeah.
Yeah, you got to be tough now.
Gotta be tough. Got to be tough. You, you know, I feel like, you guys are always, just in the spotlight for kind of like what you guys do and what you guys are able to achieve, either on the snow or on the track. And a lot of the time, you guys' personal side kind of gets overlooked. So can you guys talk to me about some of the unseen pressures that you guys face day in and day out, when it comes to competing, whether that be ski jump or on the track?
Yeah, I think probably the most unseen thing would probably be the financial side of winter sports.
Mm.
Like I think in the last Olympic cycle, the last 4-year cycle, I've probably had 7 or 8 part-time jobs
Wow.
throughout that. Just because for us, I'd say the top 5 guys in the world are making decent money,
Hmm.
but below that, like you're not making much. So I've been working on finding the balance between working to support myself without working so much that it takes away from training,
Right.
and I'm getting better at it. But yeah, the financial side, I don't know how it is with track and field, but winter sports are expensive.
I don't think we get paid enough in track. I don't, because we work so hard. Everybody got to run to be better at their sport, but we get the less. We get least, right, Brandon? But
Right.
Brandon will know sooner than later what he's talking about. He's still in college, so sooner or later he will see what I'm talking about. This guy run 145 indoors. You understand?
That's fast, right?
People running 145 outdoors.
What's the difference between an indoor track and an outdoor track,
Okay, so
like in terms of the
with
sport?
Brandon and I, we both run the 800 meters, and it's a 200-meter track, and there's a bank
Hmm.
indoor. We have to do 4 laps indoors, and outdoors we only do 2 laps. Okay, the regular track outdoors how it is. It's eight
Yeah.
lanes. Indoors is 6 lanes, but there's a bank. So it's considered that indoors you run slower indoors compared to outdoors. But this dude running 145 like he think he's outdoors, running fast, making people shiver in their
You hyping me up. I really appreciate that.
Listen, guys should go on YouTube. For all those watching that did not see Brandon race yesterday, go on YouTube, type in the SEC Championships Indoors 800-meter men, and watch this guy run the national record, the NCAA record, and I feel like he's gonna get the national record that he wanted. I feel because he was pushing hard and he was by himself. So you guys should go watch it. I promise you will be entertained. I
Thank
promise
you so much. I really appreciate that. You over here hyping me up, and I'm being hyped up by you. That's insane. You know what I mean? Since as I said before, I looked up to you so much. You know what I mean? I met Natoya 7 years ago when I was 13.
you. Yes. Pull up
She
that picture. Let them
claims that
see
she
again. I
remembers
couldn't
that we took a
believe
picture. I'm not sure she really remembers that we took a picture together. Because you know, he was a star. You know, he was taking so many pictures. But yeah, it's a great story. You know, just to
Yes, it
piggyback
is.
here,
We
connecting
have a
with you.
story to tell. Look at us. Look.
No, I'm
Look at
saying
that. He was 13.
I was
He
13.
was
I'm 20 now.
13. I was about 25, 23. I was not that old. I was 25. I was
Oh
like,
my
or
goodness.
about, I think I was about to be 23 because that was March and my birthday was the end of March. So I
Okay, yeah,
think
yeah,
I was
yeah.
about to be 23. Look at Brandon. We're on the same height.
We're all grown up now. We're all grown up now. We're all grown up.
That picture is amazing. We gotta blow that up, Brandon. We gotta show our
No, we
grandkids.
definitely should.
We gotta show our grandkids this picture, man. It's amazing.
I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that. Steven, do you have anything to add to that last question about like the unseen pressures, that you athletes have to face that, the common eye, the common man would not really think that you guys have to go through?
I think a lot of athletes put a lot of pressure on themselves. Like the biggest pressure that I ever feel is the pressure that I put on myself to
Mm.
perform. Whereas realistically, like whatever happens, everyone's proud of what you do. So yeah, I think that's the one that's kind of almost the hardest to overcome because we all, we work so hard, and we expect excellence out of ourselves. So
Right.
yeah, that one's definitely an interesting one that I think hits pretty hard.
Oh no, 100%.
Yeah,
And in athletics, I think people really, you know, you hear about how much an athlete works out, but I think people really underestimate the power of the mind.
yeah,
When it comes to sports.
yeah.
So can you guys, go, more into that? What do you guys? What keeps you guys motivated? You know, how do you guys deal with the pressures of being an elite athlete, and kind of just just tell me how you guys take care of your mental health, because that's a huge subject in today's day and age, especially with athletes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I personally just try to remember why I fell in love with the sport, and
Mm,
usually that brings me back to actually having fun training. And as long as I'm having fun training and having fun competing, then some of that pressure gets lifted off a little bit. So sometimes going and coaching little kids is super fun. Watching them fall in love with the sport helps with that, and
mm.
so yeah,
Also started working with or have been working with a sports psychologist for the last probably 3 or 4 years, which like I didn't realize how important that was before I started doing it until I started doing it.
Got you. Yeah.
But whether I just called a rant about whatever's bothering me, or if
me.
yeah,
So,
uh, or if it's like trying to figure out ways to kind of refocus on my goals, like
that's,
having the support of a sports psychologist has been super super helpful.
that's
Um,
good. So, question. So, do you ever at any time, and this goes for, all three of you guys, at any time in your career, whether college or elite, have you ever have that urge of giving up because you're not seeing improvements in your training, in what you're doing? Because for me, I almost gave up on track some years
Mm,
ago because I was seeing that the train was going right, but I was not producing on the track.
mm.
So I had to, and I think at that time I almost go to a depression. Like I was, I had to like refocus for that whole year and come back, and then I saw the improvement that I wanted the following year. Do you at any time ever think like you want to give up on what you're doing?
I haven't had a full like I'm gonna quit moment, but just with the amount of training that cross country takes, like we overtrain sometimes, where like you literally you're just mentally, physically exhausted all the time. And I had a couple of years ago, towards the end of the summer training season, got overtrained and like hated everything about sport, about my team, about life in general. But yeah, it took like 2 or 3 weeks with pretty much no training and just like reset, which made me happy to start training again once I had the energy back. Because while I was not doing anything, like I was missing doing the training, which I guess is a good sign that I'm still
Mhm.
in love with the sport.
Yeah, you could go next, Steven.
Um, yeah, I mean, so I over the last 3 years since the last Olympics, I blew both my knees out within
Ooh.
2 years of each other. So those were definitely tough ones. The first one I was kind of like, got hurt immediately, was like, all right, let's get this over with, recover, get back on snow. And then 6 months after I got back from that one, blew my other knee out. And I was like, oh, like
Oh
there
my
goes my
goodness.
career kind of thing. And I definitely had moments where I was like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, I don't know if coming back is something that I want to do. Like, do I want to go to college and have normal, normal adolescent
Mhm.
life? But yeah, I think that's when falling back in love with the sport was super important for me, and figuring out why I actually did it. So yeah, I've definitely had those moments.
For me, I think it was kind of just like as Steven said in one of his previous answers. When you get to those points, it's kind of just like your why pulls you through. I feel like I have a strong why. I always want to inspire the next generation. Coming up, and even people older than me. So uh, I like to tell people. I don't have a plan B when it comes to this. I always like to think that plan, as they say, plan B only distracts from plan A. So yeah, I really just feel like my why always pulls me through, and my why is a reason that personally keeps me motivated throughout the struggles of maybe not seeing improvement, or maybe going through an injury, as Steven said. So yeah, that's my answer to that.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah. So we have about 10 minutes left. And I have a question for all three of you guys. Um, it's a two-part question. Now, you guys have been competing in your sports for quite a while now. If you can go back in time to a younger version of yourself, what advice would you give yourself? And then also, from your point of view now, what advice would you give to younger athletes as they're going up, maybe through ski jumping or through track and field? So, what advice would you give what would you tell yourself, maybe for the younger people about 5 years ago, and then maybe like Natoya maybe like 5, 7 years ago?
5, 7 years ago,
or
was
maybe when you was in
funny.
college, before you even started all professional running, when you were still in college, what would you tell yourself? And then as
Before
I said,
professional running.
yeah, before professional. And then
Oh,
what would you also tell the younger generation that looks up to you guys? What advice would you give them?
I would tell that little girl when she was before professional, that girl, you better be prepared. Because it's not gonna be easy, honey.
Mm.
You gotta learn how to, pace yourself properly, because you can't be running out like you're crazy, like oh you used to do
All
now.
right.
I would tell her just that. And for the younger ones that are coming up now, I would tell them, listen, you gotta be disciplined,
Mm,
because a lot of the younger athletes, because they're young, they think that okay, they can do whatever they want. But for you to go to the next level, you have to be disciplined. You have to eat properly. Sleep
mm,
is very important, because a lot of persons, they don't sleep because they think they're young. They've been like, okay, go bed anytime. No, you
mm,
need to sleep. Sleep is just as important as training and
mm,
eating. It is. And I stress, get your sleep in, because your body, it can get tired,
mm,
because especially with training and all, can get very tired, you know. And you have to stay focused as well, because a lot of distraction, they come around, but you got to be focused. Keep your eyes on the prize, because it can slip away just like that.
mm.
Like you would have it right in front of you, and it, speaking from experience, it can slip away in just a snap of the finger. it just slip away. So those are my little, words of encouragement to them. Stay motivated, eat, sleep, you know, train hard too. Train hard.
I think I would say it's really important to trust the process and trust those around you. Because like I've been ski jumping for 12 or 13 years now, and like in all of that training, like this is the first year that I've actually like started having competitive jumps internationally. So if I had, say, 10 years ago or 5 years ago said like, oh man, this isn't working, I'm done, that would have been the end of a Olympic career
Right.
before it even started. But like trusting my coaches around me and trusting what training I was doing, it takes time, but eventually it starts to work out. And then I forgot the second part of that 2-part question.
It was, what would you go back and tell yourself, and then what would you tell the younger generation that's coming up? Like, what advice would you give them?
Oh, I'd say to the younger generation of any athlete in any sport, if you love it, stick with it. You got the rest of your life to live the rest of your life, but you only have this one window to chase your dreams in athletics, whatever sport it may be. And I've had people tell me that for the last couple of years, and I'm happy that they keep telling me that because it's making me want to keep doing the sport.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, I think it's my turn. I think to my 5 years ago, telling myself to celebrate like the little small wins. Like there's obviously the big goals, like everyone wants to go to the Olympics or World Championships or win medals and all that stuff. But every day there's something to celebrate. Like even if you just like didn't want to get out of bed and go train, like getting up out of bed to go train and doing a workout you didn't want to do is a win, and you got to take those wins when they come always. And that helps to motivate and helps you to stay proud of what you're doing. So yeah, I feel like it kind of goes back to the younger generation too. Cause yeah, I mean, I was pretty much the younger generation 5 years ago. So,
Yeah.
back to back, but yeah, I mean, I would second what Jared said. If you love what you're doing, there's no reason to stop. It's worth the struggles and finding a way to make it work.
Definitely.
I feel that.
What
Now,
about you, Brandon? What about you?
me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
you.
If I could tell myself 5 years ago, it would be to stay patient. I feel like, as athletes, we want results now, 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 now. And we really undervalue the importance of patience. You know what I mean? I'm a man of faith. So I believe that sometimes God puts us in a waiting room so we can, become an individual that's able to inherit the blessings that he is trying to give us. So, 5 years ago, I would definitely tell myself, young Brandon, stay patient. And then for the younger generation coming up, man, just go all in. As Jared said, we only have this small window compared to our whole lives to do something that we love. It's a way that we express ourselves. So have fun with it. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of people are too serious, especially in the sport of track. I'm not sure how it is in ski jumping, but I would just say have fun with it, man, and just do it because you love it. That's when it boils down to the root, that's why we do it, because we love it. So thank you. You gave me a chance to share. So, yeah,
You know
I
I
really
got
appreciate that.
you.
I I really appreciate that. But we always end our broadcast with a question that we ask all the athletes, and it was a "What were you thinking?" moment. So I guess because I have 3 Olympians here, what were you guys thinking when you guys made your first Olympic team? The moment you made
I'm going to the Olympics.
Something like that.
it, something like that.
It was weird for Steve and I. we were in Europe when they announced the Olympic team, but they announced it like at night in the US.
Mhm.
So I woke up and my phone, like I got a bunch of Instagram notifications and texts of like the official team nomination. So I like rolled out of bed and was like, oh, it's official. I'm going to the Olympics. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Oh man, oh yeah, I'm going to the Olympics.
Nonchalant.
Yeah. I'm happy I had my phone turned off. Not to sound like cocky, like not that many people text me, I promise. But
No, it is totally fine.
yeah. But yeah,
How
that
about
was
you,
cool to like because I had known for a couple days before the team was nominated that I was going to be on
Oh,
it.
okay,
So I had like a couple days waiting where I couldn't say anything.
got
But
you.
I was like, I wanna say something.
Oh, I bet.
Saw that. I was like, yeah, I can finally say something.
How
Well,
about you,
that's the
Steve?
good thing about having trials. We
Yeah.
know we make it because we
Yeah.
are in the top two. Top
Yeah, you
three.
know when you make it. You know, you're able to
Our
say
Olympic trials are weird.
it right when you make it.
Yeah. For us, Olympic trials, we all compete and we had 5 Olympic spots, but for our trials, only one guy like got confirmed. So the other 4, we still had like 3 weeks
Wow.
to make it
Oh.
happen.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I kind of knew before they actually announced the team, like Jared said, and I was just immediately was like, well, I gotta text my parents, like they gotta know
Yeah.
this. So that was the immediate thought, and then I was obviously super psyched, and actually motivated. I was like, all right, well, I better step it up a little bit and go
Mhm.
go put it together for the Olympic Games. So yeah,
Oh, cool. I think that was a fantastic show. I really appreciate you guys for coming on.
yeah,
Thank
Let's
you,
thank
give
you.
ourselves a round of
guys.
It was
applause.
awesome.
You know, I
Yes.
Awesome.
love it. I love it.
Thank you guys for joining us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good.
Can
It
you
was our
guys
pleasure.
can you guys tell us where we can find you guys? Maybe on Twitter or on Instagram. Give yourself a free shout out right now.
Yeah.
Mostly an Instagram guy. So Instagram is Jared_Shumate. Also, I did a couple years where I was making vlogs, and they are ridiculous. So if you want
Okay.
to watch ridiculous vlogs, those are on YouTube.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, I can attest to Jared's vlogs. They're quite good. You should definitely give them a watch. Um, yeah, same for me. Mostly Instagram, Steven_Schumann, keeping it simple. There is an N at the end of this Steven. I spelled my name wrong for this, but yeah, Steven_Schumann.
And for me, I think it's Natoya_Goule_Oli. Because Oli, they give us the Oli, which is Olympian. So I think you guys
Yeah.
they're gonna give you guys that as well. So you're officially Oli.
I'm
All
still
right.
There
waiting
you
for
go.
a new check mark.
Yes. And Twitter, I think everywhere you go, you can just put Natoya Goule and it pop up. I'm the only Natoya Goule. So you'll find
The only
me
one worth
everywhere.
knowing.
There you go. There you go. I like that. That's it.
And Natoya Goule's World on YouTube too.
Go ahead, shout out to YouTube, man. But man, I really appreciate you guys for coming on the show, man. And I think everybody can attest. I feel like that was a great episode, and you guys did amazing. So, Natoya, you're gonna stay on with me for a second, and we'll let these guys go.
All right.
Thank
Nice
you
meeting
once again
Thank
for
you guys.
joining us.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do I have to click something?
He was like,
I think that went well.
yes, it
You know, I
was.
think
Oh my
it
God,
kind
you
of just
did
like
that,
we
Brandon.
did that.
Pat
We
yourself,
did
pat
that.
yourself.
Pat on the back. Pat on the back. I guess I'll take this time to announce my socials. You
Yes.
guys can find me on Instagram at B Miller Trackstar, at Twitter at B Mills B Mills Trackstar, and I also have a YouTube as well.
Oh,
So guys, make sure you guys follow the Twitter. It is world's greatest without the vowels. So you can find it on Twitter, WRLDSGRTST. And make sure you guys keep coming back and watching these videos because, as I said before, you guys are what makes this happen, man. So, again, we really appreciate you guys and we shall be back. There I am. There I am.
Look at
And
the
we
little
shall be
Brandon,
back.
people. Look at little Brandon.
That's not me. That is not me. That I just love that picture, you know?
Really, he is like the boss.
Oh, our producer said our next show is not Thursday at 9 o'clock Eastern time, so make sure you guys tune in for that.
You need for
And without further
that.
ado,
It's an amazing show. Thank you, producer. We did well, Brandon. Boom, fist.
boom, fist pumps, fist pumps.
It's time for me to take over.
Yes. So thank you guys. And I think that concludes the show.
Yes, thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you. Peace.
Peace.